Rory, as I call him, Conacher, for the last 12 or 18 months, he's been claiming that if you give him $15, he will do a class action lawsuit against Sam Lee or Hypertech Group. He's been promising all sorts of wonderful things if you just trust him. This video will fully expose Rory. We've got family members who have grown up with Rory who have had enough. They've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Rory has used every excuse known to man. He's made out that he's doing lawsuits. We have all the documents. We have many of the recordings. We have photos, and we have it all on one blog. I'm Danny de Hek, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. My mission, my goal is to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. Just a few weeks ago, I was proven true. Rory had started promoting another Ponzi scheme scam called Step Chain. He had leaders in a Zoom meeting, and away he goes again. This video is designed to expose and show you the lies that he's been telling, not only the community that he hangs out with, but his own family. The information in this blog that you're about to see is indisputable. You can't make this shit up. Rory is a washed-up scammer. He's lying through his teeth. Nothing that he said has ever eventuated. If you go to dehek.com, you'll see I have put together a blog. And the blog is called The Betrayal of Trust. Rory, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name correctly, Rory Conacher, deceiving family and friends. 48 hours ago, there was a video released by Bloomberg. They featured me in my chase of Sam Lee and Hyperverse and Hyperfund. This is where I first met and saw Rory. Rory has been promoting stable opinion, stable DAO, VAV, VidiLook, We Are All Satoshi, and now he claims that he's going to be people's savior and get them out of the shit that he got them into. This is unbelievable. I have watched Rory. Rory has pleaded with me and shown me a list of 20,000 people that have pledged $15 each, which is $300,000. When we monitored his crypto wallet, we saw that from our calculations, he'd only got $37,000 from people. He claimed that people didn't know how to pay in crypto, who have been scammed by crypto geniuses in the past. At the very most, $45,000. He built a community up. He told people that he's doing a submission to Dubai. He said that he signed NDAs, that he can't tell people things. And there's no proof other than maybe a submission to some court in Maryland that he's ever done or going to do anything. This is the worst it gets, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a bit nervous today because I'm coming to you from my brand new MacBook Pro M4 laptop, and I've just set it all up. So hopefully all my sound is good and my videos are clear. This lady in the picture, her name is Michelle. And Michelle grew up with Rory. And Michelle and her husband, I can't quite pronounce it. Sebastien are going to, well, they have claimed that they are going to come on and do an interview with me, which will be absolutely lovely. When I read this 10-page PDF that she gave me, which you can see under here, it was actually a very sad story. The betrayal, the trust, and the loss of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Jelly Snack, nice to see you here. And I just want to say thank you to my Avengers, Susie, Jelly Snack, and the other people that haven't said g'day in the chat room yet. Just thank you so much for the support that you've given me over the years. Today, I even got news of another scammer that we've been following for over 3 years, which I can't name yet. But we've literally, probably, more than definitely likely going to make this guy lose his job because of the things that we've got him doing on the internet, all because of the videos and the evidence that we gather about people. So it's pretty breathtaking. Now, I do want to show you before we get going exactly what we're doing here. We want to help you, and we want to stop you investing in these Ponzi schemes and scams and losing your money. This here is a sneak preview of my database. Now, somebody phoned me today and they said they couldn't find my database in the public arena. And that's because the only way you'll ever see this database is if you're a government agent or a news media outlet. As I said, Bloomberg, I was featured on Bloomberg. If you go to my website, you can see the one with the cowboy behind my head is the Bloomberg video. And I will do a voiceover on that video. Here I'm in the paper with the local rag. They're promoting how I go about busting scammers. But in here, you can see I've been on ABC News, Bloomberg, Radio New Zealand, Star News, and many other news outlets. We have a page on my Contact Us page where you can submit information and tell us if you've been scammed, what the name of the scam was, how much money you invested, and who your sponsor was. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, so we make it that you can give us the information anonymously. When we receive this information, we put it in the persons of interest. We currently have over 400 people in our database. And each of these people we try to update on a daily basis as we get information from the public. We give this information, we give the access to this to government departments and media. So if you're a media outlet and you want access to this, you just need to email me on a media email address and I'll give you access to some of our database. Also in the Ponzi scheme or scam area, we're currently investigating over 115 different scams that are actively going on at the moment. The other one that we work closely with is Behind M&M. We're not connected in any which way. However, we do share information. Behind M&M is another amazing website that goes through and talks about every known scam to man. And if you go through here just recently, you'll see there is a way of supporting Oz by giving them a monthly fee. And there's also a way of supporting me. So this is E1U Life. And you can see that just recently I did a video about them as well. But there's a lot going on at the moment in Scammerland. And I think it's time for scammers who are desperate to stop doing what they're doing and get a real job. Just saying. So let's go back to this article that we have about Rory and talk about the betrayal that he's done with his cousin. So let's have a listen.
Summary: A tale of deception and broken trust. This is the heartbreaking story of Michelle Alistoun, who, along with her husband Sebastien Mangeant, fell victim to a financial scheme orchestrated by her own cousin, Rory Conacher. Over 3 years, Rory exploited their trust, draining their savings with promises of lucrative returns that never materialized. What began as a seemingly legitimate crypto trading opportunity turned into an endless cycle of lies, delays, and manipulation.
Every single one of these scams that I've gone after, sadly, it's always a family member, someone close to you, and that's how these scams grow. So when I get a person ringing up telling me they lost, or somebody rang up and told me how much they lost today, and it was 6-figure income plus, and I said, who was your sponsor? And it wasn't a family member. I just about fell over. It's always a family member or somebody you trust really close.
The initial trust. Michelle and Rory grew up together in a close-knit family. Despite Rory's history of being unreliable and manipulative, his charm and charisma always made him a favorite. When he visited Michelle and Sebastien in Dubai in 2022, He presented himself as a successful entrepreneur, claiming to run a profitable crypto trading desk. His pitch was convincing. He spoke of secured funds, steady returns, and a solid financial strategy. Despite initial skepticism, the couple decided to invest large sums, including their life savings, their house deposit, and their daughter's university fund. Rory reassured them repeatedly that their money was safe.
Yes, so we've followed Rory for quite a while. We've also gone through Rory's what we call Rocket Financial Services, which are companies that he's had set up in the past. This was a video that has since been taken off his YouTube channel about how he was announcing there was $5 million giveaway. We've got videos of him when he was promoting We Are All Satoshi. We know, where he lived. We don't know where he is right now. He's kind of like a wee bit in hiding. And then we also have lots of other videos of him with known criminals such as Keith Williams. He would turn in his grave if he knew what Rory was doing at the moment. Keith Williams died of cancer, and I think it was the 12th of April 2023. He was closely knit with Kalpesh Patel, and there's a lot of scammers in these pictures. And we've got a very good history of Rory and his thing. So the collapse. So let's have a listen to this next paragraph.
The collapse and excuses. By August 2022, things started to unravel. Rory informed them that his company had collapsed due to unforeseen black swan events. However, he promised to recover the money and repay his creditors. For years, he strung them along with reassurances, making it seem as though their funds were just around the corner. Rory's tactics included delays and legal claims, constant references to pending court rulings and business deals that were supposedly about to yield results, use of religious imagery, once sending a Bible verse to Michelle and Sebastien and later adding one to an email signature, subtly encouraging patience, new business ventures, mentioning income from various sources that would soon pay out, blame shifting, claiming attorneys, the government, or external factors were preventing him from accessing funds, confusing stories, introducing new characters, such as known fraudster Clayton Whitaker, into his scheme. Each time a deadline passed, Rory provided another excuse, ensuring his victims remained hopeful yet trapped in his web of lies.
Yeah, so there's a name there, Clayton Whitaker. Now I have heard of the name, and I probably we've got recordings of him in this very blog that we're about to look at, but I don't know anything about him. So often when we're doing these videos, we have people coming forward with other information, and that's where you can click on the Contact Us button and submit us information, because we want to know more about him. So you would have to ask, after all that there, I mean, hey, let's say I invest in a high risk investment and we lose all our money. We wouldn't want the person that encouraged us to tell us a bunch of lies or string us along. We'd like to know, wouldn't we? And this is why it's really important for you to listen to the next part about Michelle and Sebastien. Is it Sebastien, because they don't want, because Roy's going to come back, and the first thing he's going to say to people is that because she spoke out as a family member, it's ruined the chances of everyone getting their money back through a court case. Now, that is absolutely not true. This has got nothing to do with a whistleblower telling us their experience. And that is just another feeble excuse from Rory. So don't let him tell you that. It's like somebody was talking to me today about a known criminal. And they said, oh, we brought up that Danny de Hek has done videos after videos on him. And they said, oh, he's just a YouTuber. What they're actually doing is they're trying to get money from clicks. I mean, don't listen to people say that. I make about $300 a month from my YouTube channel, and I spend hours and hours doing these videos and self-awareness. It's not always about the money, but yeah, if we can get money out of doing something, we'll do it. But that's the thing that they often come back and say to people. So the breaking point, I'm just going to read this one paragraph at a time because I really want to make it clear, because I don't want Michelle and Sebastien feeling like they're going to get blamed for speaking up against Rory, their cousin.
The breaking point. By 2024, Michelle and Sebastien had reached their limit. They no longer believed Rory but still struggled to accept the full reality of his deception. Their final wake-up call came when they discovered that Rory had launched a new alleged scam, asking people for $15 to fund a fake class action lawsuit against Sam Lee.
So there's other recovery agencies out there, and I've done one on a certain guy called Craig. and he's in Australia. He befriended me when I went over to the global global sales. Where did I go to? I went to the Global Financial Crime Summit, and he befriended me, and he said that what they've been doing is charging people 9% of whatever they've lost, and they were doing a class action lawsuit, and they had $34 million worth of money, and it was the biggest class action in the world, but they had done nothing for 5 years. So I exposed him, and ever since then, he's been trying to get my YouTube channel removed. And I said to Rory, because all of a sudden, Rory must have wind of us doing something. I started getting texts from Rory, and he watched my video that I had on Bloomberg just recently, and he came back and said, it was a really good video, Danny. Well done, good on you, mate. And I'm going, what the hell are you messaging me for? And I said, this same guy, when my YouTube channel got taken down for 4 days because of a mistake from YouTube, and they apologized, he got on the internet and applauded this guy, Craig, for actually taking down my YouTube channel. So I wrote back to him and I said, well, karma is a bit of a bitch, isn't it? And I said, and everything, every action has a reaction. So this is my reaction to him having a go and applauding Craig for getting the credit when it has nothing to do with Rory and nothing to do with Craig when I lost my YouTube channel. However, as soon as they see that you're down, they kick you. They don't care about these scams. This is the way they live. I don't think I've read this paragraph.
Upon further investigation, Michelle and Sebastien realized they were not alone. Many others had lost significant amounts to Rory, with some creditors completely giving up on recovery. In February 2025, instead of sending repayments, Rory sent them a prayer.
So imagine that. So he's telling them to be patient. And a lot of these people that I've seen in these Ponzi schemes and scams are actually from a religious background. And they often use the sense of community that you have in a religious organization to quote the scripture and tell you that all sorts of things. And Rory's seems like he's tried those tactics as well.
This led Michelle to take decisive action. She exposed Rory's fraudulent dealings to all creditors, including sharing a video by the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger that revealed his fake class action. The response was overwhelming. Other victims came forward, many expressing that they had lost all faith in getting their money back.
So to my surprise, it was a video that was just recent. And that's why I'm saying in this video, if you have had enough of Rory's claims and you've got, clips or sound files or anything like that, I'm easy to find. You just go to my website. It's actually at the very top of my website. You'll see all my social media at the top. Reach out to me and let's get these bottom feeders exposed for who they are. Okay, so let's,
This led Michelle to take decisive...
I must remember where I am. Final, what's this say?
Final confrontation and the end of the illusion.
The final confrontation and the unanswered question when Michelle confronted Rory one last time. He responded with one more deflection. He claimed that he claimed to be under an NDA and introduced a mystery businessman who was supposedly helping them resolve the issue. Isn't that incredible? So even at the end of this 2-3-year-old battle, he still has another trick up his sleeve. And I see all these tricks every day from other scammers, and they just keep coming up with excuse after excuse. Their best friend is time.
However, Michelle soon discovered that these businessmen were actually a group of creditors planning to take legal action against Rory.
Yeah, so the tides had turned. The same businessman that he was saying was he was using to get the funds back. And this is one thing I did have a brief conversation with Michelle. I'm going, who are they getting these funds back from? If it's Sam Lee's got no money. He was brought in by Interpol. Bloomberg published a video just 48 hours ago, and I was heavily featured in it. And Sam Lee had been incarcerated for 60 days. So if Sam Lee had any money, I'm pretty sure they would be aware of it or monitoring him closely. And here's Rory Conacher waving his flag, telling everyone that he's going to get the money back from either Hypertech Group, which is who I believe is behind all these scams. And I've seen a video, which I've got on my YouTube channel, of 20 people in a board meeting as Hypertech Group when they went from Melbourne and moved to Hong Kong or Singapore, one of those two places. And I believe that Sam Lee and Jarvis Anwar are just puppets. They're not the businessmen behind this. They're just the facade. So let's carry on.
Despite all the back and forth, the truth remains elusive. Where has the money really gone? Why does Rory keep moving the goalposts? These questions linger unanswered, adding to the frustration and uncertainty faced by his victims. What is clear is that his cycle of deception and delay tactics has continued for far too long, leaving those who trusted him in financial and emotional turmoil.
Yeah. Literally, Michelle said to me that they've lost their entire savings. And I'm sick and tired of these bastards, these bottom feeders, cleaning out people's retirement money simply because they want the commissions they get for handing their money over. So imagine going to your cousin that you've grown up with. I mean, these photos here, I mean, you can see, she says she loves Rory. I find that hard, but she does love Rory. Here they are, kids growing up. Here they are, the photo just up here, whoops, my finger's gone, is when Michelle was 17 years of age dancing with Rory. I mean, these are, this is just disgusting. Right, the conclusion and the hard lesson to learn. Michelle and Sebastien, along with many other victims, will never recover their lost funds. These people just want closure, but by sharing their story, they hope to prevent others from falling into similar traps. So please listen to this if you're thinking about handing over your money, because that's what Rory's done. He's taken his cousin's money and invested it in a scam, if it got there, hoping to get 20% or 30% commission for passing somebody out. So he's acted like a criminal, a thief, and taken the money just so he can get the commission money. Whether he even took that money, who knows? And I've got another wee story to tell you in a minute. This is not just a story about financial fraud. It's about the devastating betrayal of trust. Rory manipulated those closest to him, exploiting their love and loyalty for his own gain. If there is one lesson to take from this, it is to always be cautious, even with those you trust the most. Now, hey, Mark, nice to see you here, mate. Sad how, yes, I'm just going to click that button. It's working. Oh, overlay is added a resizing punch. Oh, that's interesting. It's got wee messages that coming up that I got rid of last time, but I've just got a new computer. Anyway, what I'm getting at here, I have literally heard people ring up Rory on a Zoom meeting, and when he was trying to do these class action lawsuits, he was telling people, one guy said that he didn't set up an account. He put money into Rory's bank account, and then Rory went away and set up the account for him on Hyperverse and then handed it back to him. Which means when you were in Hyperverse, you traded your $800 into HU dollars, which at the time they were claiming they were worth dollar for dollar. Then you'd use your HU dollars to set up an account. If you had been in Hyperverse or Hyperfront for a while, you couldn't get your HU dollars out. So you could use 50% of your HU dollars to create an account for someone or a new account, because they had this thing about multiple accounts. So I can only assume Rory was taking cash, so that's money laundering, putting that money in his bank account, and then using his HU dollars he couldn't get off the platform to create a new account, and then use fresh USDT to top up the other 50%, and then he was handing over that account to that person. Now, when you've got yourself set up with a 20 account structure on Hyperverse, 52% of the money that got paid into Hyperverse was paid back to the affiliate marketers. So if Rory, and I'm not saying he did, but a lot of them did, had set up what they call the 20 account structure, when he feeds in a new punter, he would get 52% of that money back. So that means that he would have got paid all the money up front. He would have used his own HU dollars to create the account and topped it up with 50% of USDT, and he still would have been 2% up in the deal. Now, a lot of people who know me, when I read the newspaper clippings and it says that Hyperverse was a $1.9 billion scam, I often correct it and say I believe it's a $4 billion scam, because $1.9 billion went into the platform, and the other 2.1% of it, I believe, went back to the people who are still rampant today at promoting these Ponzi schemes and scams. And Rory would have been money laundering the money into it. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, Rodney, that was what he did. He got incarcerated. He's the only person I know that's been locked up with his connection to Hyperverse. They got him on 3 things: drug trafficking, money laundering, and also promoting an unregistered fake crypto investment, which was Hyperverse. But they took him for the easy one, and that was drugs, because he's got a history of doing that. But long story short, guys, is that these guys were all doing the same thing. Keith Williams had multiple accounts. I've got videos going back to 2022 where Keith Williams and Amanda Lee were showing people how to create, or what's the advantages of having multiple account structures in Hyperverse. So Rory he's been back. We've got photos of Rory with carrot bars, or K bars, whatever you want to call it. I like calling it carrot bars. It sounds more yummier. With the owners. So he's been in this game for a long time, and he's rubbed shoulders with all of them. Like I said, Keith Williams, Kalpesh Patel. So don't say Rory is just a poor victim who thought he was having a go at investing his money into a Ponzi scheme and then introduced a few people to it. At one stage, I heard that he believes that, he believed that, I got distracted by a phone call. I heard that he had 40 people working for him. Now, I don't know if that was true or not, but I also know right now Rory owes a lot of money to people who have trusted him. So it's not just the family member, but this family member has decided to blow the whistle. She's obviously going to blow the relationship she has with her cousin, but she felt the need to speak out and tell the story.
Original letter from Michelle Alistoun. Below is the full, unedited letter written by Michelle Alistoun detailing her experience with Rory Conacher. Voice recordings from the original communications will also be included to further document this case.
Yeah, so if you really want to know all about this case, there's 67 files associated with this blog. And we'll just read the first. I might not do the whole lot.
My name is Michelle Alistoun, and I am Rory Conacher's cousin. I have known him my entire life. Along with many others, I have given Rory a significant amount of money, and I am here to share our story. This is not easy for me because I have loved Rory for most of my life. However, I am sharing my experience because I have been deeply hurt, and I want to prevent others from going through the same nightmare we have endured over the past 3 years. I have been warned that telling the truth may hinder Rory's ability to repay his numerous creditors, but the truth itself cannot do that, unless, of course, Rory's promises of recovery are lies. If he genuinely repays his creditors in an honest and transparent manner, I will publicly acknowledge it. However, if any supposed recovery comes at the cost of deceiving future victims through shady dealings, we want no part of it.
Oh, thank you so much, guys, for being in the chat room. MK, you're an inspiration to me, and thank you very much for your encouragement. And as I said earlier on, Mark is here. So that was the paragraph I actually thought I was going to read earlier on. It is, like Rory will blame anyone he can for any reason he can, for any, if he has a chance. So don't let this Michelle's story be used by Rory as a reason why people haven't got their money back. There is no money. No one knows where the money is. And Rory's claiming that he does. It's just, we've got all the documents here, ladies and gentlemen. If you can see right by my head, there's an A and a B. If you click on A, it will take you to these photos. And if you click on B, it will take you to other photos. So we've got all the photos of Rory and Michelle as well. So let's, here we go.
The last thing I want is to harm Rory's creditors. I believe they know this. These individuals have already been through hell. They are exhausted, just like we are, and they want nothing more than to put this nightmare behind them and move on with their lives. I understand that, but for me to move on, I need to tell our story.
And I was first of all suggested that Michelle writes down this, and it's good therapy, writing things down and put them down on paper. And it's good documenting stuff like this, because you could literally use this in a courtroom to show the narcissistic strategies that Rory has used.
Rory was born on July 2nd, 1974, and I was born a little under 2 years later. His mother and my father were siblings. Our families have always been close. A, B.
Yeah, so you can see the blurry face family, and you can see Rory in the red and Michelle in the left. I hope we got that around the right way. Let's have a listen.
As children, we spent a great deal of time together. I often played at Rory's house with his brothers and my older sister, who was a tomboy. I was the only girly girl in the group, and even as a child, I found Rory to be a manipulative bully. I would only play with them if I had the protection of his eldest brother. Some things happened back then that I won't discuss here, because we were just kids, and perhaps those incidents are best addressed with a psychologist. That is not the purpose of this story. Rory and his brothers also spent time at our house, and we spent many school holidays together in the coastal South African town of Scotberg at our mutual grandmother's home.
Wow, that's pretty raw. Here we are telling you, some things happened back then she won't discuss because you need a psychologist. That's pretty deep. Let's go into here and let's leave the next one.
The first time I ever heard the phrase "he could sell ice to a snowman," it was my parents saying it, about Rory, and they meant it as a compliment. Rory had an undeniable gift for sales. As he grew up, he also developed extraordinary charisma. Everyone loved Rory, and I was no exception. He was my favorite boy cousin. See.
Yeah, it just shows you how these Ponzi schemes and scams just destroy families, isn't it?
Rory is the kind of person who is easy to be around, easy to confide in. He presents himself as a family man, or at least, he used to. I'm not sure he truly is one anymore, but he speaks in a way that makes you believe he deeply loves and cares about his family. And yet, I am his family, and his actions say something very different from his words.
Yeah. Actually, and while I'm actually here, I actually am going to let Rory know that we are live because he's been funny, unusually. I don't know why he's decided to, but he's decided to start messaging me just in the last 48 hours. And I have sent hours of videos, messages and correspondence to him, and he's never replied. So he must know something's going on. So I'm just going to get that. I actually am going to let Rory know that we are live. And I'll send that through to him, and he can also come on chat. There will be a link there, Rory, where you can click on it, and you can actually come on stage if you want to and tell us whether this is just a load of bullshit, which I'm sure you'll try to. Yeah, now did I get that? I can't remember whether I did that bit. And yet his family is different words. I'm sorry, we're not going to miss any of this.
People trust Rory. They always have. But one thing I have known about him my entire life is that he is unreliable. He will make you believe he will do something or meet you at a certain time, but he will be late, if he shows up at all. We all tolerated Rory's unreliability because he was so likable. He made you feel like he adored you as much as you adored him.
Yeah, well, he's definitely got away with words, and all these people that promote these Ponzi schemes and scams are the same. Don't be taken back by people who are softly spoken and the like, because this guy is a notorious bottom feeder of the world, and this blog will show you stuff that you've never heard about him before.
I moved to the UAE in 2012, initially living in Abu Dhabi. Rory visited us in 2019, and we grew even closer during that time. D, E, F, G. 3 years ago, I moved to Dubai, and Rory visited us again in 2022. Spending time with him has always been a pleasure. H, I, J.
Look, Michelle, you had your eyes shut in one of those photos. What was going on there? Is that England or is that Dubai? Have they got a spinning wheel as well? That looks like a pretty amazing place to visit. So you can see all the photos and everything that Michelle said is backed up. And my partner actually said that Rory back then was actually quite an attractive guy. He's gone to town quite a bit when it comes to the good life, so to speak. And who knows how much wealth he's got or how much he isn't, because these individuals just don't have we don't know the truth, and we can't get the truth because they just tell a life full of lies.
Whenever friends or family from South Africa visit us in the UAE, they quickly realize that their South African rands have very little value here. As a result, my husband and I are used to treating our guests to food and experiences. However, Rory has been the only exception to this rule. He always insisted on picking up the bill for us in the UAE. I was always both amazed and pleased to see that he was doing so well professionally.
Yeah, and this is all since 2022 by the sounds of it.
My name is Sebastien Mangeant. I'm Michelle's husband. Michelle and I have been together for longer than 15 years, so I met Rory a long time ago and can confirm that he's an instantly likable guy.
So that's good. Hopefully I'm a likable guy
During
as well.
Rory's last visit in 2022, he spoke to me about his financial business. He had opened a crypto trading desk and was making significant profits from swing trading, if I remember correctly. At the time, market volatility was high, so it was entirely believable that he could generate profits by using customer loans and securing decent percentage returns on a monthly basis. This was clearly not a long-term plan, but something that could work for a while. The idea was that we would invest, earn profits from the interest on the loans we made to him, and then exit safely, as the funds were supposedly secured.
Isn't that crypto though? A lot of people say, oh, you don't like crypto, Danny. And I go, well, I'll be honest, I don't really. But it is a very volatile market, and crypto is only worth as much as the next person's willing to pay. And it goes up and down, doesn't it? Like a yo-yo. And, a lot of people, it's sort of like an artificial economy in a way, because you put your money in and you can lose. I got given a Hex token, and at the time I got it was worth 160 New Zealand dollars. Within 6 weeks, it went down to $82. So it went down to half its value. 2 months later, it went up to 2,800. But then I couldn't get the money off the platform. Not that I wanted to, but I couldn't if I wanted to. I wouldn't know how. And you're stuck with it. Now, today, it's worth $400. So, that's crypto. However, you're meant to love it, so they tell you. You don't have to love crypto. You might just want a product or a service, and you might just want to build up an old-fashioned business. I think the world's lost its way a little bit.
I explained the scheme to Michelle and told her I thought it could work, or that it could be a Ponzi scheme. We didn't believe he would involve his own family in a Ponzi scheme.
And this is the thing. Roy will say, oh, I didn't know it was a Ponzi scheme. That's not good enough. He's not a financial advisor. He shouldn't be providing financial advice to people. And he's obviously been hooking the money into his own bank account, as I talked about earlier on, rather than handing it over to these platforms. And then he's also been taking the commission, which a lot of people don't know about until they realize they're in the scheme. And then they realize that huge commissions are being paid out, which even makes it harder if the company theoretically was real and was going to return the amounts of money they claim they would.
There is only one person in the world I trust 100%, and that's my husband. So when he came to me about Rory's business, I told him I didn't believe mixing family and money was a good idea. But Rory kept talking to my husband, and eventually, I thought, sure, why not? If Sebastien was comfortable, then I was too. That was my mistake because, in the back of my mind, I remembered that years ago, my younger brother had lost money through Rory in something related to Bitcoin. Still, I swallowed my doubt. This was Rory, after all, and I loved Rory.
Yeah, so it is hard when a loved one is giving you advice and chipping away. It's like the dripping tap. It eventually wears people out. I remember an illustration about we've got this thing in Milford Sounds. It's called the chasms, and you look at this river and you can see how the water has wore out the rocks, and it's like looking at a hydroslide, and it's just fascinating to look at. But the power of water that just goes through over and over eventually can cut through rock, and persistence and perseverance will often make people decide that they will invest in these opportunities. And that's what they do. That's how they work. That's why they do these gaslighting Zoom meetings to, basically brainwash you into thinking this is true and genuine. And eventually it wears you out. It carves you up like a stone.
On April 12, 2022, my husband gave Rory a significant amount of money. On April 19, an equally significant amount, representing our UAE savings, was given to Rory. Back in South Africa, I had sold 3 properties and put all my life savings into a stock account that was performing poorly. I wanted to move the funds, and Sebastien suggested I pass them on to Rory. So on May 11, 2022, we transferred my entire life savings to Rory. At this point, I felt a little uncomfortable, but Sebastien reassured me, I was family, Rory clearly loved me, and if it was a Ponzi scheme, I'd be protected, he'd get me out. Rory was, and still is, adamant that it was never a Ponzi scheme.
Oh my goodness. Well, you need to listen to Behind MLM, Rory, and you need to wake up. This is definitely a Ponzi scheme. Or you need to go back to university and study what a Ponzi scheme is. Or you need to come up and tell us what product or service. I mean, Hyperverse was they were getting on vessels to go off to the metaverse, for God's sake. And that was meant to be the product that everyone was investing in. And you could buy yellow, purple, and platinum tickets to get into the spaceships and go to the metaverse. I mean, how stupid is this? And you're telling me that was a product that was going to make people unbelievable wealth? I mean, Kalpesh Patel personally told me that Sam Lee was telling him that they were taking the money out of Hyperverse and they were investing it in Bitcoin, and they weren't doing investments in startups. There was another thing he said they weren't doing. He was so horrified. That's when he left Hyperverse. But what did he do? He jumped straight into promoting G as partners. And then a couple of weeks later, he was into Wee Global, another Ponzi scheme and scam. You know, these Ponzi scheme scammers, same with Rory. He's now promoting Step, I've forgotten what it's called, Step Chain, which is just another Ponzi scheme where you invest money. Isn't this guy, if he really was remorseful, he wouldn't be trying to tell the community that he's just built up over the last 12 or 18 months, telling them he can get their money back, into another Ponzi scheme. And we've checked the company from Step Chain that he's promoting just a few days ago, and their offices are virtual offices in London, and they claim to have like 12 or 13 staff. There's no such evidence of this. It's just absolutely lies. And here he is promoting another Ponzi scheme. This guy should be mortified. He should be climbing into a hole and burying his head, not, trying to, trade his way out of it with another Ponzi scheme.
On May 13, 2022, I called Rory and told him he now had in his possession my entire life savings, the deposit for our first house in Dubai, and my teenage daughter's university fund. He responded in less than an hour, assuring me that everything was safe and that the funds were placed in a secure trust account. Nothing could go wrong. It's devastating that I no longer have this voicemail. I changed phones multiple times, and those voice notes were lost. 4.
Yeah, so this 4 is the screenshots here, and I will scroll through them and open them up as we get them. But, this is proof that this has actually happened.
In July 2022, my sister died, which was the greatest tragedy of my life. The circumstances of her death were horrific, and most people didn't know how to react or offer support. But Rory was there. He knows what to say and do when people are grieving or under stress. 5.
Yeah, so this is the message that Rory sent his cousin after she'd lost her sister. I've lost my sister as well. I'm not comparing apples with apples, but it is a very sad thing when you lose a sibling. So, even the emotional attachment. I mean, you think about it here at the moment. You've got Michelle, who's invested money that she got from selling 3 houses, and then Rory knows that she's gone through hardship by losing her sister, and Rory was making lots of money from other people at the same time, and he was building his own wealth. You think he would have thought, hey, it might be a good time to pay back my family, rather than, carrying on. So here we go. This is going back, we're nearly 3 years ago now.
In August 2022, Rory became quiet about our financial dealings. We received no statements, and we started getting nervous, wanting to pull our funds. On August 10th, we got the news that his company had collapsed due to 3 black swan events. I cried a lot. It would have been nice if the story had ended there, but the nightmare was only beginning too.
Now, this is interesting. I don't actually know what a black swan event is. Maybe it's something that you claim is out of control when you lose your money. But my thing is, why does Rory's company that fell over have anything to do with Michelle's money? I'm not sure if her money went into Hyperverse, to be honest. I don't know if he was like doing like a hedge fund sort of investment portfolio. I don't exactly know. Or I have no real idea. I still haven't cleared that up with Michelle, but maybe it will come out when we read through this a bit more. But what I see here is obviously he said he's gone quiet. Now his company's gone bankrupt, and then all of a sudden that's the reason there's no money. I'm not quite sure, actually. I might have got some of this wrong, so maybe you can follow this better than me.
We had a Zoom call with Rory. 3. Looking back, I feel like such a naive fool, but at that time, my main concern was my beloved cousin. He looked so sad and stressed, and I was genuinely worried he'd have a heart attack. During his last visit to Dubai, he had been in poor health. I don't mean to be unkind, but he was significantly overweight and suffering from sleep apnea, so I was deeply concerned. Anyway, He promised us he would make things right. He said he'd likely have it resolved within 10 days.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, those 10 days went past pretty quick, didn't it? So now what we've got, let's go into this one.
We were not in a desperate situation, as we had not invested any funds needed for daily life or to finance our other projects. Instead of getting angry at him for not even checking whether the money had ever been secured in a trust, the very basis of the deal, we chose to avoid adding stress to his life. Instead, we told him we would support his efforts to recover the funds and assured him of our love above all else.
Wow. The family ties are quite amazing, aren't they? So this is number 9. We'll get that one read as we go.
9. In the early days, he appointed a woman from RJS named Sue Stringer to communicate with the creditors. All the creditors had lost not just a little but a significant amount of money. Sue was appointed so that Rory could focus on the important work of recovering these funds. However, over time, Sue Stringer stopped communicating with everyone, and it became apparent that the promised 10-day time frame had never been realistic.
So here we go. We might get some interesting stuff coming up in the minute.
Looking back at this letter now, it's almost amusing to see that it was co-signed by Peter Schul, someone who came to Rory's defense and even wrote a note to all the RJS creditors in an attempt to discredit you, Danny, 555.
Right, so they're trying to discredit me because this letter was written to me, and this was for our interview that we will be doing in the future date. But let's have a listen. So this is a letter. Dear creditors, we actually will read this if we can.
Dear creditor, update, RJS creditors scheme of arrangement. We are pleased to update you on the developments of the last week for the RJS capital creditors scheme of arrangement. The process of securing the funding for the scheme has continued and progress has been made. Collation of the final details of all creditors is complete and calculations of the options and permutations for payment of creditors is underway. This would include phasing of payments, timing and size. We are still aiming to hold the creditors meeting within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Details will be communicated as soon as they are available. We also plan to contact each loan creditor individually before this meeting to confirm the specifics of each contract and client. Please expect another update in a week's time at the latest, but we are always available to answer questions or provide explanations, should you require.
Yeah, so this is where I'm a bit confused. Maybe I should have asked Michelle more information about this, but it does seem like Rory was providing financial services to people when they did investments with him. And then his company fell over rather than investing in Hyperverse, which I initially started talking about.
In 2022 and 2023, both my husband and I were independently speaking with Rory. Sebastien trusted that Rory would eventually pay us back, but I was becoming more doubtful. Whenever I felt worried, Rory would say all the right things to reassure me, and I would feel better again. 10.
Yeah, so these are all the screenshots. If you go to the blog, you'll see them coming up here. And then we'll read number, or it's called number 1, but it's not.
1. In September 2022, all RJS creditors received a message asking us to confirm our details to make the repayment process easier and more streamlined. In hindsight, this seems to have been a tactic to make us feel like the money was always just around the corner, yet something always seemed to get in the way of it actually happening.
Yeah, that's the telltale sign of these scammers, isn't it? Everything is just around the corner, and you've got to exercise patience. And if you don't, you get told that you are negative. So it's just, anyway, so let's go to October 2022.
At one point in October 2022, I called Rory to check on the progress, and for the first time, he made me angry. Here he was, having lost our entire life savings, at the very least, due to negligence, and he told me to put it out of my mind. That was the moment my anger truly surfaced. I thought to myself, I'll put you out of my mind, and I didn't speak to him for a while. 6.
So I reckon that Rory was doing I don't know, portfolio of investments, and one of those investments were probably Hyperverse, and he thought he'd invest in a Ponzi scheme, and then obviously lost everyone's money and didn't know how to get his way out of it. I'm not feeling sorry for Rory one slightest, because I've given him enough opportunity to actually turn his ways around, and he hasn't. He hasn't backed off, hasn't flinched, and is obviously now claiming he's doing a class action lawsuit for Hyperverse victims. This is something different, I believe. That's the problem. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, so we need to go back to number 6. I didn't put an underscore on that one. So did we get number 6? Oh, yep, there we go. Right, let's go to this paragraph.
But in reality, I had played right into his hands. I left him alone to do what he does. And what is that, exactly? Who knows? What I do know is that a lot of people have lost a lot of money to him, yet we were still being fed the same lines about how hard he was working on it, how stressed he was, and, of course, how incredibly resilient he is.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. I'm just going to fix some problem I see here, and we'll read number, what I'm calling 13. There it is.
13. In March 2023, RJS creditors received an email stating that RJS could receive the first payments towards the end of April. We are constantly reassured that Rory is fully committed to repaying all of us in full. We are still reassured to this day, and perhaps for all eternity.
I would like to provide an update on the status of RJS Capital Financial payment to credit. Unfortunately, funds are still not being received. So he's claiming that they're going to get their money back. Isn't that shocking? So it's also dragging out the pain of it all. And this lady, Sue Stinger, whoever she is, same problem really. Let's have another carry on reading. I'm going to fix it in the background.
In May 2023, creditors were once again reassured that all was well, but this time, we were also given a comforting Bible verse from Proverbs 3:27. That should settle any doubts and assure us they are with God, so all will be well, I suppose. 11.
Yeah, so you can see the scriptural connotations down there. That would have gone down like a lead balloon for me. I'm just saying. Whoops.
In August 2023, we heard from Rory himself, who once again stated his commitment to paying us back. He assured us that monies will start to flow, and I will be able to make payments, which will be directed by the credit committee. We were told there were 3 sources of income. He thanked us for our patience. It sounded like things were wrapping up nicely. 666.
666 doesn't sound too good, but I don't think that really is the devil's number. I think it's something else. I'm just fixing up this blunder I've done here. Hopefully we'll be able to get that there. Update that. Update. Right. 666. All right, let's see what we've got here. I think this is a PDF. Yes, it is. Right. I don't know if I need to read that, but if you need to read it, then you can take a screenshot or you can pause my video. But basically, it's giving credit. It's backing up. Everything we're saying here is backed up in evidence with
During
documents.
September 2023, nothing much happened. There were a couple of quick calls in which Rory assured us that things were proceeding, though he didn't have any new updates. In October 2023, we went to South Africa. I thought it would be a good idea to invite Rory to join us for dinner with our friends and family, keep him close. Surprisingly, Rory agreed. He arrived very late and very stressed, and you can't make this stuff up. He had forgotten his wallet at home. K.
Oh, Rory, you can't go out for dinner and forget your wallet, mate. People are onto you. Right, so that was number K. Where did we get to on that one? I think I've stuffed up now. This is not going to be good. Let's see if we can get it back. K. Oh, there it is. K. Now we're up to November 23. We're getting there.
In November 2023, no one had received any money, but the magistrate ruled in favor of RJS, so surely the money would come through. Rory then thanked everyone for supporting him.
So the magistrate filed in favor. I'd love to see those documents and proof there was actually a
He told
court
us
case.
that by December 2023, everything would be sorted because the ruling was clear and payments were due. The court system was supporting us, the attorneys were processing the files, but payments to SARS and other obligations needed to be cleared first. We were at the back of the queue but still in line for payments that were secured and supposedly happening.
Right, sounds like a bunch of porkies here,
By
Roy.
January 2024, I was becoming more impatient, so I left my husband to handle the conversations with Rory, as it was causing me too much emotional stress. Honestly, I didn't
That's the part I just hate, is that I didn't care. All right,
care how he lost the money. I just wanted it back, or, at the very least, to know for certain that it was never coming back so I could have closure.
Yeah, now I'm just going to fix this up as we go for your reading pleasure. I didn't care. That was meant to be on that paragraph. Goodness me. didn't care. She just wanted closure, and that's why she's writing this letter now.
In
Poor
January 2024, he emailed all creditors, stating that he was now in discussions with the lawyers and remained fully committed. 444.
So there you go. There will be a letter, and it'll be proving what Michelle said here. Attention to all the creditors. And Michelle has actually emailed the creditors today, telling them about this very blog.
Also, in January 2024, we were introduced to a man named Clayton Whitaker. To put it nicely, he seems rough around the edges, while dear Rory is a cultured and civilized man who always says and does the right things. Again, we were told this was coming. We have countless voice notes from Clayton, but here is one we received in January 2024, so you can get a feel for him. BBB.
All right, so I'm going to play this. Don't know if we'll play the whole lot, but you'll get the gist of it. And once again, you can go to this blog and listen to it yourself.
I mean, are you worried about these people that keep contacting you? These people that still have money? These people that can still put a plate of food on their fucking plates? These people that are still...
This message is censored and it has a few swear words.
driving around their cars and don't have an issue of going up to a fucking petrol station and filling these tanks. These people that keep fucking carrying on and thinking I'm fucking God of a fucking magistrate that can sort everything out. I can do everything. I control the courts. I control the fucking sheriff. I control everything. I'm Jock Sasson. I fucking control his brain. Everybody thinks all these people that have fucking money to do what they want, while people like me that have fucking worked their pussies off to build a business.
Well, I think you get the gist of that conversation. And once again, if you want to listen to it, you can come here and listen to that yourself. But I think I've had enough F words for today. Forgot about that one.
Rory is painting Clayton as a bad guy while simultaneously making friends with him to get the money back. I now believe that Rory and Clayton are working together in a classic good cop bad cop scheme. Here's what I recently learned about Clayton.
Wow, so there you go. So he's accomplice in crime.
It turns out he is a criminal in South Africa. This is not just a rumor. I found actual articles and one describing him as a menace to society. Back in 2015, he had 9 outstanding warrants for his arrest. He is wanted for fraud, specifically for confirming payments that were never actually made. A private investigator stated, "I've never met anyone with such a low level of conscience and complete disrespect for the law." 39, 40, 41, 42.
Yeah, so these are the clips of the articles that Michelle's talking about. Whitaker was denied bail. So I'm sure you could search for these the words that you see in here and find the originals if need be. But like, what else do you want? I mean, guilty by association is what my mum said. If you're naughty at school, your teacher would come along and tell you off, and then your parents would often say, "Oh, he's not a bad kid. He's just hanging out with the wrong kids." Well, I don't believe that. I believe that these people. You have a run?
You want to go?
I do, but I haven't got time because I'm doing this.
That won't take forever.
Oh, okay. I'll see how I get on. Do I want to go for a run, or do I want to sit here and listen about Rory's naughty boy habits?
I expect to be told that this is not the same guy, but if it quacks like a duck and moves like a duck, then maybe it is, in fact, a duck. The relationship between Rory and Clayton is unclear. What Rory says and how they behave are two different things. However, I tend to believe they are allies because Clayton was given Michelle's latest email, by Rory, to the creditors, which he confirms in writing.
Yeah, so we've got 2024 now.
In February 2024, Rory claimed that money was starting to flow, making it seem like this nightmare was finally coming to an end. It appeared clearer than ever that the money was arriving. It was here. 3.
So if Rory is, a good scammer, you think he just would have fessed up and said, "I've lost everyone's money," rather than stringing them along. But why would you keep stringing people along? Because you're going to claim that you really do believe that you're going to get this money back. Here's a 30-second clip.
So, it's quite a bit of money. It's split up into 5 different payments. So you need to have fun, buddy. So you need to let me know from there what's potting, what's kicking, who's swinging, who's sliding, and Yeah, it's us sorted, we sorted, everything's alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, whatever that means. Yeah, so there we go. So on the 12th, we've got another picture of
12. In March 2024, I asked Rory straight out, what does your gut tell you? That it hasn't been received. Any ideas why? He answers that he reckons the attorneys are holding on to the money for the sake of earning interest, even though he won a court order. I'm seriously scratching my head, thinking, wow, this is crazy. I even suggest he should make a movie about the whole scenario. He talks about his amazing resilience throughout the ordeal, how his intentions were so honorable, and decides to write a book titled Get Up. He already has the caption for it. 14.
Unreal. Get up. I think it would be better to actually say get out and stop it. Obviously, you can see these are more clips handled. I just want you guys to be able to see these clips without having to go back to the blog. So you can pause this and read any of this if you want, or if you're in disbelief that this actually happened. There is the real hard evidence here. These are all from Michelle's phone. She's been put them
You
in a
can be beaten
Dropbox.
down so many times, but as long as you get up, you are moving forward. On the 25th of March, 2024, he added that he expects to see the cash by the end of the week. Great timing for my birthday, I thought. 20.
Now, Michelle's birthday is coming up soon. I won't say when. And she wanted to have closure before her next birthday. So this has been going on for years. It must be just horrible living with the fact that you have the possibility of getting your life savings back by your cousin and then just being kept strung along all the way. I mean, it is just horrible. I felt for her. One good thing about not having money is you don't have to worry about losing it. Just saying.
222. On the 30th of April, 2024, we are told that the matter is back in court, with a date set for the 7th of May. Once again, we are
Hey,
thanked for our
buddy.
patience. Later, Rory messages, saying, no, Clayton got it wrong. The magistrate didn't sign off on it. 21. What? But on the 7th of May, Clayton sends a message saying that everything is done and paid.
Oh my goodness, it just must be like, so here's another letter. You can freeze the computer, have a read of that if you want. And I'll just make sure you can get it all without my head in the way. There you go. Another letter and another voice recording. So let's have a quick listen to that.
I finally think all the shit is over. And pity I can't fucking drink today, but I'm definitely gonna get fucking smothered this weekend. It's been fully set aside. So they asked to please just hold it so their client can give time to respond, and wada. Magistrate said fuck it. So yeah, Rory, it looks like we're all good, buddy. We can fucking pay everybody and just fucking carry on like nothing happened. And a lot of these people, to hell with them. They'll never get a chance to make money off me ever fucking again in their lives. They lost out on something good because of their fucking lack of understanding, but they can now literally go fuck themselves. And it's good. You know that feeling when you get that call? It's like your fucking hair stand up on the back of your neck. So I'm fucking over the moon happy, bro. I'm really and truly.
So this is Clayton speaking, not Rory, because he mentioned Rory's name in it. But you can sort of see of a good cop, bad cop. This guy's obviously been incarcerated before for doing shady deals. And as Michelle pointed out, it seemed like they were going to come after Rory. And it's just a bunch of criminals playing good cop, bad cop.
Fucking so long.
I've had enough of that. Anyway, you get the idea. So now we're going down to Clayton got it wrong. And then, so that was Clayton's voice message saying that it's happened. And then Roy's
In
put it
May,
straight saying
creditors
it
are told that the 28th of May is the final day for a deal on the case. Talk of payments coming through resurfaces, and once again, we are thanked for our patience. Still completely lost, we create a WhatsApp group between the three of us because, at this point, I have no idea what the hell is going on anymore.
Yeah, it must be frustrating,
18.
Michelle.
In June 2024, we received a bunch of gibberish, confusing messages forwarded to us. We have no idea what's going on, and I start giving Rory the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he doesn't either. 22. But then, There's a forwarded message stating that payment will come next week, no later than the 26th of June, 19.
Oh, look, you get the idea, don't you? It's just a world of deception. And I just want to bring these on the screen so everyone can see them. You can read through them. As I said, you can pause the video whenever you like. So there's no lack of evidence here. This is definitely Rory. This is not Danny doing any AI. It's just a terrible situation that somebody's got themselves
This endless
into.
confusion, which makes your head spin, feels like another tactic, sliding in a bit of hope while overcomplicating everything, giving us fragments of a story but never the full picture.
Yeah, so hi cuz, can't begin to understand the stress you have been experiencing, but I want you to know that things are coming through as promised. Oh my goodness, this must just be, I hate my car. Happy belated birthday. Thank you so much, Michelle. I've got my birthday wish too. Literally shit spewing media slut information coming through here. Hey, old man, any good news soon? 30 days, account will be delivered. All this bullshit. It's just bullshit on bullshit, poos and wheeze. You had banked on Friday or Sunday being the latest, can you confirm that the money is now in your account? So nothing. I mean, this is just, it's tear-jerking stuff, isn't it? So let's go and listen to Clayton's stuff again.
15. In August 2024, Clayton sent a message saying, "We will celebrate on or before the 5th. We have done it. I hope you sleep like I will today, in peace." Then, on the 27th of August, Rory says, "The money is there, no more stress." He's also working on other things and working around the clock. 16.
Oh, how many times have we heard scammers telling us they're working around the clock to justify their sloppiness, I was saying. Oh, painful. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
We also start hearing about Sam Lee and a lawsuit involving 17,000 people. 23.
Yeah, so now we hear about the lawsuit. 17,000 people. That's where he claimed he had 20,000 people that had pledged to give him $15 each to do a class action lawsuit against Sam Lee. And that's bullshit. I don't even know if that's the right segment, but we'll find out hopefully in a few minutes.
On the 20th of September, I point out that we keep hearing about a next week that never comes. I provide numerous examples. Seb asks Rory if he even knows what's going on, but Rory simply replies, "We are at the near end." We start receiving videos showing the front of a truck in the snow, but we are never told or shown what is actually on this truck. The cycle of next week, the next thing continues, and I'm getting more and more irritated.
I'm sure you are, Michelle.
333. It seems Rory picks up on our frustration, so on the 29th of September, he sends us a comforting video, talking about how many things are in play. Somehow, we have apparently invested in crypto, but then, it's also about court cases with a water municipality, deliveries in Mozambique, and the weather. What? 35. If you question what he's talking about, he throws in more stories, leaving us feeling dumb. FFF.
What the
Paying
fuck?
the duties. So that's all done and dusted. We're just waiting for a receipt, which they email to them for their collections, and then we get paid.
Oh my God. Whoop.
On the 14th of October, 2024, while in South Africa, we jokingly tell Rory that we are in Cape Town and that he can bring us a suitcase of cash. He responds, "Cash deals are on the table, timings." Good. 34. Surprisingly, he actually shows up, but of course, there's no cash. There never has been at any stage. He sits on the couch, chats with us, and explains how everything is just great and how hard he is working. Blah, blah, blah. We're amazed he even showed up, and we start thinking, maybe he must be genuine if he drove all this way to see us, right? Just amazing. In fact, on this occasion, he actually arrives on time, which is quite unheard of. Around the 20th of October, 2024, it seems the manufacturing side was experiencing issues due to electricity shortages and weather conditions.
Oh, there's a big long email. So we'll read that. We'll read this and watch the...
On the 23rd of October, Rory sent us a reassuring message, saying, "Rest assured that something will happen as soon as I've got the first bit of cash flow coming in." He was being very transparent, trying his best. 36.
So translated, Rory is trying to trade his way out of the shit he's got everyone into by probably getting involved in more Ponzi schemes. And that's a telltale sign of a Ponzi scheme. And it doesn't mean he's a hero, it just means he's definitely a scammer. And he doesn't care what he does to get money from people to get himself out of the shit he's got himself into or other people into.
On the 11th of November, we received a voice message from Clayton, stating, "Everyone will have a good Christmas." However, he also warned about people messing with things, saying that those who had the cheek to follow up with attorneys were making things worse. According to him, contacting attorneys was bad for anyone involved. He insisted that people needed to wait, that everyone was in the same boat, and that no one should cause trouble. He ranted that no idiot should interfere, calling it pathetic for anyone to mess things up. His conclusion: don't pay the troublemakers. People must wait because we will all have a good Christmas. CCC.
Yeah, so that will probably be another foul message. But here's Clayton. I've forgotten what he's doing, but they are telling people not to shake the boat or not to rock the boat, as they say.
How's it, Rory? I had a look at the message that you sent now. And, things have been put in place that all of us, including you, myself, my staff, your staff, everybody will end up having a good Christmas. And this thing can be set beside all of us, and it's set aside, and we don't have any more issues. And people stressing and stuff like that, and everything just comes to an end. But I find it very strange that you get one or two clowns. Now, I will call them a clown based...
I'm used to this sort of talk, and you might not be, but this is where they belittle anyone that wants to ask a question, and they call them clowns. So they're just gaslighting people to shut them up, and obviously no one's received their money back. So I'm not going to play all that, and he's got a bit of a potty mouth, that Clayton guy, so we'll leave him out of it. But what I might do, I might go through this blog, and I'll put a wee speaker beside the ones that are all, you can hold your mouse over them and look for M4As. But let's have a listen.
My brain got stuck on that, Christmas. Let's see if we actually have the good Christmas we were promised. At this point, I make the statement that everything was as clear as mud.
Yeah, so there's some more screenshots of Rory Conacher, as I call him.
Rory, do you know how nice it is to have peace and quiet for 2 days? No stress, no issues, nobody waka waka. Just to sit in peace. Even the fact with not having money, but just sitting in peace. Waiting. I had a dream I went on a fucking money spree. So when I dream like that and I start itching the way I'm doing on my hands now, and the way it has been itching, the money is very close.
Oh, the money's very close. Oh, it must be just heartbreaking if you are hoping like
On the 29th of November, we heard about Rory's hard journey and how he's still here. He asked for good vibes and left it up to us to decide whether we believed him or not. 30.
Yeah, 29th of November. Yeah, I think you get the idea now. Just to give you an idea, this is Michelle pouring her life into explaining it. There's more. I think if I go to the end, we will be here all night long. And I think we're actually not too far away from where we're onto it. But look, this is not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. This is a blog that really exposes Rory Conacher. If you go to dehek.com, you can find this blog, and I'm going to go for a run. But if you go down to here, you'll see the blogs on my website. And also here's the one, The Betrayal of Trust, how Rory Conacher deceived family and friends. And it truly is enough to put the nail in, I don't want to say coffin, but I think this finishes off Rory Conacher. Rory, you have made lots of false statements. You have told people all sorts of stories. You have deceived people. You have nothing to back up anything you do. And then to finish it off, you have now told your cousin that you have signed an NDA with some mystery person that no one knows. I have been on your Zoom meetings and I've asked you for proof. And I've said to you in these Zoom meetings that you're just doing this to build up a community so you can scam them again. Well, you've proved me right. You proved that you've started promoting Step Chain, and that's a scam. And that is what you are, a scammer. Go check out my videos, comments, feedback, any information about Rory or this Clayton guy, please give it to me and we'll stop this guy. And there's some other exciting videos coming along as well. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Danny de Hek, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. I'm here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good evening, night or morning. Stay safe out there and stop giving your money away to scammers. See ya.